Ashe.
Thanksgiving. A day of reflection for our melanin-rich culture people. Thanksgiving is a holiday steeped in tradition. For many, it's a time to gather with family, share a meal, and express gratitude. But for those of us from the melanin-rich culture, this day holds a different significance, one intertwined with the historical fabric of colonization, chattel enslavement, and the ongoing struggle for recognition and justice. When we think about what Thanksgiving means to the ancestors, it's not just about the metaphorical breaking of bread. It's about understanding the context in which that meal was originally shared and the far-reaching consequences that came with it. The popular narrative around the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people describes a harmonious feast in 1621. But beneath that somewhat sanitized version lies a grim history of colonialism and violence. While this gathering is often romanticized, it marked the beginning of a long and brutal era of oppression, broken treaties, and land theft, actions that reverberated through generations. As melanin-rich individuals, we must recognize that the legacy of Thanksgiving is entwined not only with Indigenous suffering, but also with the impact of transatlantic chattel slavery. The ancestors who endured the horrors of enslavement often lived amidst similar stories of loss, dislocation, and the quest for identity. The painful irony is stark. The Pilgrims and their feast symbolize a new beginning for some, but for others, it represents the loss of life, land, and culture. Like the Indigenous peoples who faced genocide and the devastation of their communities, our forebearers endured the heinous institution of chattel enslavement, a system that sought to dehumanize, disenfranchise, and strip away any sense of home. The unfavorable legacies of these historical crimes continue to shape the experiences of our melanin-rich people today. For many of us, the idea of giving thanks during a holiday rooted in such dark histories can feel deeply disingenuous. Why should we celebrate a day that, for the ancestors, was likely a moment of mourning? As descendants of those who suffered immensely at the hands of colonizers, some melanin-rich individuals and communities understandably resist participating in the Thanksgiving traditions embraced by mainstream culture. When we gather around the dinner table, we don't just share a surface-level gratitude. We also carry the weight of the ancestors' experiences, pain, and resilience. In recent years, there's been a push from various marginalized communities, including Indigenous folks, to reframe Thanksgiving as a day of mourning and reflection rather than celebration. While many white Americans feast on turkey and cranberry sauce, Indigenous people and melanin-rich culture people take the opportunity to educate others regarding the realities of colonization. Such a reimagining holds significant importance for our melanin-rich people. It encourages us to join in solidarity with Indigenous communities and recognize our shared histories of resilience against oppressive systems. Additionally, this reframing allows for a deeper conversation about gratitude itself. When we express thanks, are we doing so within the context of the ancestors' struggles? Are we willingly acknowledging who benefited from our ancestors' sacrifices? In recognizing the darkness of colonialism, we honor our roots, affirm our identities, and pave the way for meaningful dialogues about justice, reparations, and healing. One alternative to the traditional Thanksgiving celebration for many melanin-rich individuals involves creating new rituals that honor our ancestors and our histories, such as hosting a day of remembrance, family gatherings, or community service. These gatherings emphasize reflection, storytelling, and education. They shift the focus from purely personal gratitude to collective acknowledgement of the struggles the ancestors faced. In conclusion, Thanksgiving remains a complex and layered day for those of us from the melanin-rich culture. Rather than merely viewing it as a holiday of thankfulness, we must strive to understand its impact on the ancestors, recognizing both the pain and the resilience present within our histories. By shifting the narrative to honor those who came before us and fostering dialogue about colonialism and its ramifications, we can reclaim this day as one of reflection, community, and resistance. It is not just about refusing to partake in traditional celebrations, but rather about understanding the profound stories that have shaped our identities today.
Stay woke. My melanin-rich culture community. Stay woke.